Here at the scene of the crime spree, right behind you.
Strange.
Vice Mayor Strange, you'll address her properly.
You can kiss my foot.
Mr. Rickard, you're out of order.
FBI, we are asking you to investigate this council. Please look into this council, how they award contracts, the bid process, how they use their positions to benefit their friends and themselves, how they use their positions to attack residents and critics and neighbors and business competition. FBI, will you please look into this?
And I welcome the FBI here. If you notice, Mr. Thompson with his plea for the FBI and his watchdog group, this city runs the cleanest in this whole county. I guarantee
He was served a federal subpoena this morning.
We did receive a subpoena this morning, and we're going to cooperate 100% with the subpoena. And
Most of you who were involved up here, you gaslighted me. You tried to say I was crazy. And now we know that that's not true. And there's a lot of other issues I've been asking about as well.
Well, we had a big day yesterday as the Panama City Beach elections and other local elections wrapped up. Gosh, it's good to have it wrapped up. Election season with all the signs and everything. By the way, I was driving through a neighborhood today and I saw Paul Casto, the incumbent councilman in Panama City Beach, who won handily. Yesterday, I saw him working hard, picking up all of he has big giant signs all over the place. So he himself was picking up these big signs and putting them in the truck. And so he's out there doing that. There's signs all over the place, but I did see him picking his up. As for the other incumbent, Jeff McConnell, who thought, and I'm going to be reading your comments during the show, who thought that Mary Coburn would win this race? Almost everybody I talked to didn't think she was going to win the race. They thought, she had a better chance than Mark Meade did, who ran against Paul Casto. And that's because Paul Casto is so well known and so well liked. If only everybody knew that he was also voting to discharge stormwater into the Gulf and voting for all the rampant overdevelopment and voting for the assessments and voting to fire good people like the city clerk, MJ Bossert. But as for Jeff McConnell, he's done. He is never going to be back at a city council meeting up there again, right? He lost handily, by the way. Mary Coburn got nearly 60% of the votes. It was like 60-40. It was a big, big loss for Jeff McConnell. So some of the arrogant pomposity, 20% of it now, is off of the council. Mary Coburn did an awesome, awesome job. And as for Jeff McConnell, well,
it's all over but the crying.
All right, so I want to see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I'm sure Jeff McConnell is pissed at me. Yes, Jeff McConnell is no longer a council member, and he won't be attending any more city council meetings up there. Maybe he'll be in the audience. We'll see. Yeah, it's amazing news. Isn't that incredible news? I want to tell you also about the amendments. There were 8 charter amendments that were voted on. 7 out of the 8 passed. The council had been campaigning for these, lying and saying they weren't campaigning for them for quite a while. They had these brochures that went out. These little, they sent all kinds of stuff. By the way, I believe these were illegal. I can just imagine somebody from the Panama City Beach City Council meeting city council is watching this. Maybe Debbie Ward, she's the public information officer, but somebody's watching this and going, oh, he's always saying something crazy. But, you can look this up yourself. If you look up Florida statutes and campaign electioneering material, this is known as electioneering material. It's not campaign material, because campaign material, according to statute, says vote yes or no for somebody. All right. This didn't say that. All right. This didn't explicitly say vote yes or no for somebody, but it was certainly informational. This was certainly, informational. So I'm telling you, I looked all over, even electioneering material that's sent out in the mail. It has to say somewhere on here, paid for by, and nowhere on here does it say paid for by. And I'm telling you, I was looking for it. I was looking all over this thing, and my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but I have been looking. Yeah, this is illegal as hell. It's illegal as all get out, is what it is. I have been paying closer attention than I have before. So, I'm looking closer at things. People are saying, Bernie, you haven't been paying close attention to the details. Well, I fixed that, and I got myself more magnifying glasses. That's got to scare the ever living out of the council, right? Bernie with more magnifying glasses. But there's nothing on here. Look it up, electioneering material, electioneering communication, to include these. This should have said paid for by taxpayers. But even if it doesn't say vote for, even if it's just simply informational. All right, enough of that. What can we do about it? I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know this. You did something about the council. You changed 20% of the makeup of the council. This is a big deal. Do you know that they used to beat anybody who tried to run against them pretty easily? I think Mary Coburn raised, I don't know, something close to $6,000 maybe. And Jeff McConnell was given, he didn't raise any money. He was given by guys like Neil Bennett, let's see, Kramers, the Kramer family, Bill Kramer, Kramer Chevrolet. I mean, my God, they gave him a boatload of money. They really wanted McConnell in there. He spent, I think, about nearly $35,000 on this campaign, Jeff McConnell. And he got whipped 60-40. How did that happen? How do you think that happened? I'm curious. I want to see how you think that happened. I'm going to tell you the reason I think and what this points to in the future. Do you know there's another election just 2 years away? 3 out of the 5 council members, 3 out of the 5 are running in 2 years. And now you know that they can be beat. I'll tell you who those council members are, and I'll tell you what I think might happen within 2 years, and what impact Mary Coburn is going to have on the Panama City Beach City Council in just a moment.
When your life is on the line, hire the lawyer who lives in our community, works in our community, and worships in our community. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan could make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at pcairrepair.com. So I think the members on the Panama City Beach City Council are vulnerable. And I think they're vulnerable because people don't want the Gulf of Mexico to have 30-foot deep trenches in it. They don't want the Gulf of Mexico to have more stormwater. They say it's the same amount, but they're lying to you, and I'll prove it. They don't want them to have more stormwater discharged into the Gulf of Mexico near the end of the city pier. They don't want more assessments. They don't want so much of what the city council is cramming down your throat. Notice that nobody ever runs for office telling you that they're going to raise your assessments or bring more assessments, which are taxes by another name. They were abusive. They were abusive. Mary Coburn's campaign was, what did she say? It's about respect, right? It's about respect. Do you ever see how the council treats people? I have seen over the past 7 years, as I have been going to the council meetings and showing them to you, I have seen them implement new ordinances, and they had to take public comment first. One time, there were 15 out of 16 people said, please don't implement, I don't remember what it was. Was it something maybe about trash? I don't remember what it was. 15 out of 16 people went up to the council and said, please don't do this. And guess what? They did it anyway. They didn't give a flip what you have to say. That's abusive. And I think that yesterday, by Jeff McConnell being voted out, I think they're tired of that.
This will not stand, this aggression will not stand, man.
It won't. This aggression will not stand, man. I want you to think back over the last 4 years. And these elections come every 2 years, right? Because they're staggered. They're 4-year terms, but they come every 2 years. But think about the last couple election cycles. Think about just 2 years ago. Phil Chester was an incumbent, finished his 4-year term. He ran again, and he damn near lost. He only won by about like a dozen votes. Like a dozen votes. And if you look across Bay County, even in Lynnhaven, the mayor of Lynnhaven, Jesse Nelson, he only won by, 12 votes, something like that. They used to win big, and then they started winning by just a sliver. With all the tricks up their sleeve, they were winning by just a few votes. And now it's a rout. It's a rout. And these are the people who will be up in 2 years. You've got Michael Jarman, you've got Mayor Mark Sheldon, and you've got Phil Chester again. Actually, Phil Chester won't be able to run again. That's going to be an open seat because you can only serve 2 terms in Panama City Beach. You can't keep going on and on like at the school board, for example. And do you know why in Panama City Beach you can only serve 2 terms? There are term limits in Panama City Beach. This is a great story. See, when people run for office and they say, I'm going to implement more transparency, like Doug Moore said when he ran for the county commission 2 years ago, he hasn't done a damn thing for transparency. In fact, he has meetings in diners with other commissioners talking about stormwater. Okay. Which, yes, it's a sunshine law violation. But here's what somebody would do if they were serious about it. There didn't used to be term limits in Panama City Beach until somebody on the council said, I would like to put a charter amendment. It's like we just had 8. But this person said, let's put a good charter amendment. You can only serve 2 terms, and then you're done. He got the other 2 votes. It went up for a city charter amendment. The people voted for it, and that's why Panama City Beach only has 2 votes. Who knows who it was? I'm looking at your comments. Who knows who it was that did that? See if any of you know. That's the kind of thing they could do if they gave a damn about good government, but they don't. They only care about politics and power. I'll tell you who it was. It was Mayor Lee Sullivan, the former police chief. Lee Sullivan is the one. You can thank him, and I think, I can't remember exactly, but you can thank him for pushing that through. And that's what every council and the commission, they could all do that. A county commissioner could do that, I believe. But they're not a charter. See, there are 67 counties throughout Florida, and only about half of them are chartered. And so maybe the county commission can't do that. But any city that has a charter can do that. That would actually be a good thing. So how did Mary Coburn win? Well, I think, for one thing, you helped me get the word out about the truth. when it comes to Jeff McConnell. Jeff McConnell's a fraud. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it now. And so people knew that. Number two, I think when people saw, even if they didn't know Mary Coburn, because she didn't have as much money to run commercials and big giant billboards and have all the giant signs, even if they didn't know Mary Coburn, what most PCB voters know is they're tired of the good old boys. And when they saw, do you agree with this? When they saw Mary Coburn on there, they thought, well, that's a change. That's a change, and we want to change. So number one, I think McConnell was found out. Number two, I think they wanted to do something to get rid of this good old boy system. And number three, you know what I think another factor is? That her name, starting with a C, was above McConnell's name. And that actually helps a little bit when your name is above another candidate's name. That actually helps a little bit. So I think these are super important things. But here's something else I want to tell you. When I told you, I want you to think about this. This is going to sound like a throwaway sentence, okay? But it's not a throwaway sentence, what I'm about to tell you. This is very, very important. I have been thinking about this, and I came up with this not too long ago. What they should be caring about on the council is good government. And what is good government? Well, for one thing, it's respecting the rule of law, meaning that they treat all residents, all citizens the same. Number one, that's the rule of law, equal application of law. But number two, that they don't change the rules all the time, right? So you can plan your life and you can run your business without them changing the rules all the time. The rule of law is a fundamental principle in a republic like ours that values freedom. And when they don't have that, or liberty or property rights, those things, those make up good government. But they care about politics. They care about power. They care about enriching themselves. They care about cronyism. We see it over and over and over, don't we? In Panama City Beach and elsewhere, and throughout Bay County, everywhere, really. But here's what I've been saying. Think about this, will you? Write it down, think about it. Government is no place for politics. Oh, Bernie, that's so dumb. Government's no place for good government's no place for politics. Think about that. Good government is no place for politics. We need people up there who are concerned about good government, not politics. What do you know about politics, Bernie? Well, I have studied it for about a quarter of a century. I even went to college and got a political science degree at Cal State Fullerton. Political science degree, which is a silly name if you ask me for a degree. It should be called government studies, right? There's no science in politics. Trust the science, right? So good government is no place for politics. And what is politics? Well, one of the best definitions that I've come up with over the years is it's a study of who gets what, how much, from whom, when, all that kind of stuff. It's ugly. Politics is ugly. I've been doing this for about 15 years, political commentary, this type of stuff. And people say, Bernie, you really must love politics. You always know about politics. And you want to know the truth? I hate politics. But I have to know what the so-and-sos are up to so I can stay one step ahead of them and to tell you what's going on. Now, here's another reason I think that Mary Coburn won nearly 60-40. It was a rout. And by the way, her campaign manager was Arthur Cullen. He is the premier campaign manager and dumpster diver, a political operative for the good old boys, for the establishment in Bay County. And he used to brag about having something like, I don't know, a 24-0 record. Well, I know for sure he lost a campaign in Lynn Haven 2 years ago. The candidate's name was, I think, Brian Dick, right? So Brian Dick lost, and this time Jeff McConnell lost. So he's not, and McConnell paid him like $4,000. And I never saw him. I never saw anybody with McConnell, really. Lonely Jeff out there. Yeah, that's right. Arthur was Jeff's campaign manager. And but there's not a lot you can do when the word gets out. Now, I want you to think about something. People ask me sometimes, Bernie, why don't you cover more stuff instead of just Panama City Beach? Well, here's the problem is I'm just one guy with limited resources. And what I've learned is if I scatter myself around a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, it doesn't accomplish much. But if I pick out the worst of the worst, say Mike Thomas or Hector Solis or Jeff McConnell, and I stay on them every day for their entire term, if necessary, and I, like a laser beam, I stay on them every day for 4 years, the word gets out. And it's no fun to be a council member when the truth is being told about you and when you're being asked questions that challenge you. And when these questions eventually get you subpoenaed by the FBI, as all of them got subpoenaed through the city in 2020 by the FBI. Investigation is still ongoing. Slow as all get out, but still ongoing. It's no fun. So if you think about that, who did I just mention? Mike Thomas, Mike Pay-to-Play Thomas, the former mayor, Hector Chase Solis, the former councilman, and Jeff McConnell, Angry Elf. These three guys are no longer there. No longer there. Two of them quit. They didn't want to do it anymore. It was no fun. Mike Thomas didn't run because of me, quite frankly. How do I know this? Because in court, he said so. Well, he was being deposed in one of the lawsuits I was in against them, or them against me, whichever way it was. And he was asked, are you going to run again? He said, no. This was like in 2018, I think. Something like that. And 2019, probably. And he was asked, why? Why aren't you going to run? You don't think you can win? And Mike Thomas said, I do think I could win. Well, then why aren't you going to run? And he looked at me and he said, such as this. So it's just no fun. So my point is this. There really have been 4 members of the Panama City Beach City Council that have earned my full attention. And that's Mike Thomas, Hector Solis, Jeff McConnell, and Mark Sheldon. Mark Sheldon will be up for re-election or running for something else in 2 years. We will be telling the truth about Mark Sheldon for 2 years. And if you share the truth and you help me get the word out, I don't think that he'll win. That's the importance of journalism. That's the importance of it, right? I'm one guy. I can get on 1 or 2 things and stay on it until it gets fixed, right? Until it's resolved. But could you imagine how great it would be if the other media outlets that pose as news, like WMBB and WJHG and the News Herald, if they were to really go up there and ask critical questions, which is what you're supposed to do in journalism, if they didn't just take their press releases and read them as news, if they got the other side of the story, in other words, if they told the complete story and they gave context to the story along with facts. Journalism isn't just about reporting facts. It's also about reporting context and background, right? All of that. If that were to occur, we wouldn't have this type of government all throughout Bay County. Remember what I say? Aside from the new one, good government is no place for politics. The other one is the extent to which, we have public corruption is the extent to which we have no journalism. When you have no journalism, you have public corruption rampant. It's ubiquitous. And not only that, it's everywhere. So, all right, I want to read some of your comments. I also want to go over these charter amendments and tell you which one failed, because it was an important one, and I'm very glad that it failed. And I'll tell you about it right after this. Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
All right, let's take a look first at the charter amendment that failed, okay? And then I'll take a look at your comments after that. So here we go. This is all right, this is WMBB's report on it. And interesting thing about WMBB, well, I don't know if I want to get into all this, actually. Let's just look at this. So there were 8 charter amendments. Number 5 is the only one that lost. Competitive procurement requirements. Here's how the city defined it. I think it's that one. Exempt. Let's see if let me make sure I'm right here. It's the 5th one. Referendum 5. Yes. Okay. So here's how the city described it in their electioneering postcards. Exempting IT goods and services from competitive procurement requirements under certain situations. And the people said no to that. Now, I'm so disappointed that voters voted in the rest of them. They can sure make them sound good, and they did. These won't be nearly as important if we get good people in office, all right? So I would have really liked to have seen number 4 fail, competitive bids, where they're number 4 reads like this, according to the city, authorizing the use of competitive bids obtained by other government agencies or cooperating purchasing entities. They call it piggybacking, and it allows them to spend, again, a boatload of money without having to go to vote. Number 3 does that too. City manager purchasing authority. I can't believe. Why would voters say yes to that? Raising the city manager purchasing authority. What does it say about that? The 3rd proposal will allow the city manager to be granted $100,000 in emergency spending if the city council is unable to call a special meeting to respond to an emergency. The city manager would then inform the council of the spending at the next meeting if passed. They threw in the word emergency, I bet is why. It almost didn't pass. Anyway, these are the ones. Now, these were, guess who came up with these? You know who the chairman of the Charter Amendment Citizen Advisory Board was? Jeff McConnell. Jeff McConnell came up with these. This is his wish list. So in one respect, I have to say, in one respect, Jeff McConnell was a winner yesterday. His dream list of charter amendments, he got 7 out of 8 of them. Now, I'm sure he would have preferred to lose 7 out of 8 of them and stay up there, but you didn't allow that, thank God. I thought Mary Coburn had a pretty good chance, about a 50-50 chance, I thought. But evidently, we've been more effective than I thought. And when I say we, I mean you and me. When you share this stuff, when you share the stories, when I show the documents and I show them in their own words, straight from the horse's mouth, when you share that stuff, it's so powerful. I'm amazed at how many people see it. And somebody else is, because journalism matters, right? Citizen journalism matters big time. And we see that with the new group, the Beacon of Bay County. And Jody's here, Jody Christine Moore and her team. I think they just got 1,500 followers. If you're not following on Facebook, the Beacon of Bay County, you're missing out on important news that you will not get from the local media outlets who are public-private partners with local government. So let's see here. Let's see. Think you meant Cullen was not Mary's campaign manager. Cullen was. Yeah, I don't know if I misspoke, but I know I frequently do when I'm live. Arthur Cullen was Jeff McConnell's campaign manager. Let's see. Oh, I did misspeak. I see Jody. There you are. Denise, there's Denise. 3 for 3 so far, 100%. Thank you. Yeah, I think I do think that the St. Joe Company and the big developers who install these people are going, holy shnikes, just like that. That's what I think they're saying. Holy shnikes. Things are changing. I do think they're concerned about it. Somebody said, Bernie, do you think that they really cared about Jeff McConnell? Maybe they didn't care so much about Jeff McConnell. They do. They care about the 20% vote on the council because each council member represents 20% of the vote. There are 5 of them. And McConnell was a loyalist, right? He will do anything up to and including discharging stormwater into the Gulf of Mexico near the end of the city pier, which is what they're working on doing. I'm only half joking when I say this. I believe these people, Paul Casto included, I know he's a cool guy, but Paul Casto votes on this stuff. Michael Jarman, right? Nice guy, but he votes on this stuff because they care so much about having these positions because they come with benefits. They come with perks. Phil Chester, Mark Sheldon, money mover Sheldon himself. I believe that these guys would discharge cyanide in the Gulf of Mexico if the kickbacks from the developers were big enough. I'm only half joking on that. I might not even be joking on that because they're going to discharge filth into the Gulf of Mexico. And many of you still don't believe me. Many of you still don't believe me about this. Well, Bernie, they say it's going to be the same amount that used to go right at the edge of the sand. No, it's not going to be. I'll prove it to you right now. First of all, if you've ever driven on Highway 79 south all the way to the water, do you see all those giant concrete pipes or whatever they're made out of that are laid up along the road? Those are going underground and they're leading north. So they're going to be bringing water north and putting it into the Gulf of Mexico. Number 2, here's another thing. Right now, they are building more impervious surfaces along Front Beach Road. They're building more parking lots. They're building more resorts. These are areas where now rainwater can absorb into the ground, right? When they put impervious surfaces there, that rainwater will not absorb into the ground. It too will be added and go into the Gulf of Mexico. But they're going to drain water from higher north, I believe, north of Back Beach Road. They've got to dry out the area on Back Beach Road. They can't. St. Joe can't build on that now. They can't build the strip malls and the neighborhoods that they want to build because it is wetlands right now. They got to drain it, and I believe they're going to drain it into the Gulf of Mexico. And they want to do it. I think they have for sure one. They said 2 of these big giant underground, these pipes that they're going to put under the rock bed of the Gulf of Mexico. First time ever done in the Gulf of Mexico. These pipes are big enough to drive a car through. And there are not 100 people standing around Panama City Beach protesting this. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you allow these things to happen. But yeah, they'll do all that. Now we have somebody who ran on the platform, Mary Coburn, who was elected yesterday, 60-40 nearly, who says, let's slow down this rampant overdevelopment. That's music to our ears. Let's not discharge stormwater into the Gulf of Mexico. Wow. Let's respect our residents and our citizens. Somebody who says, I love this one. She would say this. She says, tourists are important, right? In Panama City Beach, the lifeblood of our economy, but they're not more important than you are. When's the last time you heard somebody say that on the council? Let's see here what you all are saying. Yes, there we go. Frank agrees with that. That's right. Let's see this. What do you see she will be able to change or do? All right. So she's one vote, right? She may go down 4-1 on a lot of votes. But as a council person, she can have conversations up there that they right now agree not to have. This is very big. So when they go up there and they vote on, or they vote on something that's a really big deal, maybe $1 million of spending, they'll say, are there any council comments before we vote? No, because they've already agreed on it, right? So there's no comments up there. And then they just vote on it. Well, when you have somebody up there who's honest and who has real concerns, she can actually force a conversation up there, number one. She can also add things to the agenda, like presentations and other agenda items. So there are things that she can do. But the most important thing to remember is that it's one step at a time, right? One step at a time. Here's what has happened for us, for you and me. Don't you feel look, I'm pretty skeptical about a lot of things, okay? But it doesn't stop me from doing all I can do, right? So yesterday, though, when the results came in, didn't you have a little bit of hope, right? Didn't you have just a little bit of hope? Like, wow, this is beautiful. Did you feel that too? Hope is so important to people. I think about the story of, oh gosh, what is it called? Pandora's box, right? Greek mythology. Pandora was the girl who was given the ornate box, and she was told not to look in this beautiful, beautiful box, right? So she gets this beautiful box and she sets it there, and it's just killing her. What's the curiosity is just killing her. What's in the box? But the deal was, you can't look in the box, Pandora's box. Well, after a little while, she thought maybe they really want me to look into the box. So she opens the box, and what happens? All of these little evils fly out of the box. Death, sickness, suffering, all of these things fly out of the box. And she slams the box shut. Pandora slams it shut. And only one evil was not released from the box. And it's the one thing that people need, right? We can live with sickness, right? We accept death and grieving. But there's one thing people can't live without, and it's hope. When she slammed the box shut, the one thing that was left in there was foreboding, right? Hopelessness. Hopelessness. We can't live with hopelessness as human beings for very long. And so, didn't you have that little glimmer of hope? This is, by the way, one of the reasons why I do what I do and why I'm as passionate as I am about it. Because false hope, people who give false hope are evil. Evil people. And this was in the Hunger Games, in one of the, I think it might have been the last one, in the movie The Hunger Games. One of the lines in there was, to give people hope, just a little bit though, not too much. Got to give them string them along. Well, if you remember, Barack Obama's whole platform was hope and change. And he's not the only one. Politicians run giving you hope. If you vote for me, I'll fight for you. I'll do this for you. Hope. But when it's false hope, when they're selling you false hope, and they know they're selling you false hope, that fires me up like nothing else. All right, let's see what you're saying. Thank you, Janice. Yeah, let's see here. Richard says, thank you so much, Richard. Yeah, Richard, I almost switched gears 4 years ago when McConnell was voted in, but clearly I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing, right? So I'll continue doing this. I would like to see Mark Sheldon, if he's not arrested before the next couple of years. I'd like to see him either voted out or voted down if he tries to run for another office, which I think he's going to try and do. I think he's got his eyes set on other offices. Yeah, that's true. Hector Solis has his very best friend. How do I know that Rick Ramos is Hector Solis, former councilman Hector Solis' best friend? How do I know this? Because he said so in court. Remember, he sued me for defamation. The councilman, former councilman Hector Solis. And during depositions, he said Rick Ramos, who Hector Solis appointed to some board, some fakakta board, is his best friend. Yes, he does have political ambitions. That is true. Penny, oh geez, Penny, thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you. Denise says motivational speaker, huh? I sure appreciate the comments. Let's see what Jody says. There are lots of problems in Bay County and some bad actors who need to be exposed, but there is indeed hope for us all. Yeah, there are more good people than bad. I believe that, Jody. And, if the news outlets aren't going to report the news, here's another one for you. All right, so tonight will be the night where I give you some of my formulations. What was the first one? Good government is no place for politics. Right. My second one is the extent to which there's public corruption is the extent to which there's no journalism. Well, I have another one, but it just slipped my mind. Not surprised big bad actors. First of all, there are more good people than bad people. Need to wake up. God, I forgot my last one. I just had it too. Maybe I'll just linger here until I remember. What the hell was I going to say? This, by the way, this happens to me. I think it's COVID brain. I do. And I think I had COVID in 2019, by the way. Bad. Bad. Before they knew what it was. And then I got that little one later on. What was it? Omicron. But I swear, ever since then, I've lost hair on the top of my head. I've lost hair on the top of my head, and I have I don't think as well as I used to think. I forget short-term things. Damn it. What was I going to tell you? I'll have to remember it and tell you another time. Oh, thank you. It's so nice of you to say this. So, yeah, thank you. Policy. Yeah, I heard that one too. All right, so I will. I'm going to punch out of here, and I will see you soon. By the way, if you would like to support my efforts, my independent efforts, here's how you can do it. You can become a patron. It's like giving a tip every month for as little as $5 a month at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. And it's easy. It's anonymous. Nobody will know you're doing it. And you can quit at any time. Patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. And by the way, I haven't said this in a while. This show is also on YouTube, which tends to have better video. So if there's ever a lag, if I look like, my mouth's moving and words are coming later, YouTube is a great place to watch the show. And I don't have nearly as many people watching the show on YouTube because I haven't done as much on YouTube over the last decade. But I sure would like to. So if you want to make me happy, you can go to the Bernie Thompson Show on YouTube and subscribe. That would really make me happy because I want to get the word out more to as many people as possible. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for being with me, and of course, thank you to the Unknown Patriot, another sponsor of the show. And I will. I'm so proud of what we did. When I say we, I'm talking about Mary Coburn and all of the people who spread the word, all of you who voted for her, for Ken Nelson, former councilman Ken Nelson. Do you know he's the one who talked her into running? He and former Vice Mayor Josie Strange. Yeah. There was about a week left before you couldn't run for office, right? The deadline. This is like 4 months ago. And something like that, 3 months ago, something like that. And it looked like Jeff McConnell was going to run unopposed. And I got a call from Ken Nelson. And he said, we have a candidate to run against Jeff McConnell. And I think it's important, don't you, that in a healthy community, we shouldn't have people running unopposed. We should have people running for those seats, good people running for those seats. And when I found out somebody was going to run against Jeff McConnell just before the deadline, just imagine how disappointed he was. He thought he was going to run unopposed, but Mary Coburn fixed that. So when I say I'm so proud that you helped get the word out, that Ken and Josie talked somebody good into running for office, that y'all voted for her, and now we are making a difference. I'll say one more thing. One last thought, okay? I posted something on, if you look on this page on Facebook just below, I posted something about hit the road, Jack, and it was Jeff McConnell, married one, hit the road, Jack, and it had some of his last interview, just a short part of his last interview. And somebody said, and I think it was fair, somebody said, I don't like Jeff McConnell either, but at this point, it feels like you're just piling on the guy, right? I think it was piling on or something like that. Kicking the guy when he's down, something like that. And I said, fair enough. That's a fair statement. But I want you to understand something. I don't view these people. When I talk about them, I'm talking about them as a mayor. I'm talking about them as a councilman. I'm talking about them in the sense of public trust. All right. Now they talk about me and they try to talk about, do you ever notice that people are doing this a lot lately? That they project what they're doing, right? They'll accuse you of doing what they're actually doing. Now, when I told you some things about Jeff McConnell, it was because Jeff McConnell made them part of his campaign. All right. He put that there in that public trust arena. And I had to talk about it. But I don't talk about Jeff McConnell as Jeff McConnell. He's councilman. He's vice mayor. I don't talk about Hector Solis as Hector. He was a councilman. He had public trust that he violated. I don't talk about the mayor as Mark. He's the mayor, right? So when I post this the day after the election, it's kind of a message to the other public officials that if you continue to steal and you continue to abuse us and you continue your corrupt ways, you, in your position, you may get humiliated in a fair way, in a true way, right? And so I want Mayor Mark Sheldon to know, and Robert Carroll on the county commission, and Tommy Ham, and all the rest of these guys, that if you continue doing what you're doing, we will talk about you in the arena of public trust. I won't talk about your family like you do me. I won't do that because you're doing plenty wrong in the arena of public trust. So I don't feel bad for Jeff McConnell, the man, because I don't think about Jeff McConnell, the man. I think about Jeff McConnell, the vice mayor. That's what I think about. People say, Bernie, you must really hate this person. I don't think about them. I don't even think of it that way. It doesn't even really cross my mind. I think about those positions and the abuse and the way they corrupt and pervert the public trust. That's what I think about. So it's not kicking a man when he's down to me. It's sending a message to the other public officials who are engaged in public corruption. You're next. you're next. So that's my best answer on that. I'm going to get out of here. I will talk to you very soon. Thanks for being with me.